Abraham waited 20 years for the promised child. Jacob served his uncle Laban 20 years when he planned to go to Pandan Aram to hide from his brother Esau for what he thought might have been a few months or maximum 1 year, but in the end he spent 20 years in that place before leaving to go back to his father's land with riches. Or what about Joseph? Joseph, the son of Jacob. Joseph worked as a slave and a prisoner and waited 13 years for justice and redemption from these unfair conditions. Nevertheless, when it was time for Joseph to be vindicated, the scripture says it happened quickly. Let us take a look at the book of Genesis chapter 41 and verse 14. It reads, "Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they quickly brought him out of the pit." When the time was right, Joseph skipped checks and balances and all processing and protocols. You and I both know that people don't just leave prisons suddenly. But when the king spoke it, it happened suddenly for Joseph. What am I trying to tell you with these stories? I'm trying to tell you that no matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult the situation may look, no matter how impossible it may seem, no matter how long you have endured in it, there is an expiry date to that problem. When you serve the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the one true God, be rest assured that there is an expiry date. There is a time when it will come to an end. And when the time is right, God will hasten it. The expectations, the answers to your prayers will come quickly. When the time is right, ideas will come suddenly. When the time is right, healing will happen suddenly. When the time is right, increase will come suddenly. When the time is right, even the salvation of your loved ones that you have been praying for will come suddenly. For some of you, things will happen so quickly, you would make the mistake of beating yourself and wondering why you had not thought of it sooner. But if you ever make that mistake, I want you to remember that it was never your thoughts that brought these things forth. It was just God's time. When that time comes, it will be like a switch is turned on by the divine hand of God, and everything seems to come together in an instant. Isn't this what the scripture talks about when it says all things will work together for good for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose? Things will come together in an instant. And I want you to know that not even one smile or laughter that was lost will not be restored back 1,000 times. When the time is right, God will redeem even the time that was used in your place of testing and trial. You will see the time redeemed in the abundance of joy and the awe of the perfection of God's timing in that situation. You will look back and say, it was worth it, for he makes all things beautiful in his time. So, what are you waiting on God for that seems as though it is taking so long, it will never happen? I want to assure you that when the time is right, God himself will make it happen. Let's read Isaiah 60 verse 22. It says, "I am the Lord. In his time, I will hasten it." It is written that in his time, when the time is right, he will make it happen quickly. So my dear brothers and sisters, do not give up being patient in the Lord. I want to also let you know that when it seems like God is not doing anything, that is when he's doing the most important thing, which is developing your character and transforming you into the image of Jesus Christ. When you read the story of Joseph from Genesis 37 onwards, you can see how Joseph's character had changed, had been refined from when he was a young boy, spoilt, privileged, a spy, and a goody two-shoe. You can see how Joseph allowed his trials to develop his character to be more wiser and humbler person. He became much more wiser and humble in the end through the process of his trial and testing. I want you to remember that it was the harshness of slavery and an unfair prison sentence that brought the best out of Joseph. God used that situation to refine him. The whole time, God was working in the dark, obscure, and unseen aspects of Joseph's life without him even knowing it. I want you to remember that right now, God is doing something with your patience as well. Do not despise this moment. It is the foundation that will hold you up in your place of victory. And so therefore, it is very important that quality of time is spent on this moment as it is right now being spent. In the end, what Joseph worked for 13 years seemed like an overnight success when the time was right. 20 years of Abraham waiting for a child was forgotten with the childbirth pain when the joy of the arrival of the child had come because the time was right. No matter what you're waiting on God for, the joy of his arrival shall surely come. And when it comes, it will make the waiting period seem short-lived at the hastening of his placement in your life when the time is right. Hello friends, you just listened to my blog at Priscilla Daily. To read the transcript of this blog, please visit priscilladaily.news.blog, where you'll find this transcript and other blogs that I have written, and you can also be on the lookout for future blogs that I will write and release on that site. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.